From the station that's on your side, you're watching News 19 at 11.
And good evening. Thanks for being with us now. I'm J.R. Berry.
And I'm Andrea Mock. The search continues tonight for the man responsible for raping a woman on USC's campus. Tonight, Crime Stoppers has released a sketch of that suspect.
Take a good look at this now. This incident happened early yesterday morning near the East Quad Residence Hall on USC's campus. Again, police say the man in this sketch raped and robbed a woman off of Blossom Street. If you have any information you believe can identify this man, call Crime Stoppers right now. That number, as always, 1-888-CRIME-SC.
Meanwhile, tonight on USC's campus, students there are still very upset after they say it took the school too long to let them know about this sexual assault. According to police, the assault happened early Tuesday morning, but we're told the alert to students wasn't sent out until last night, nearly 20 hours later.
I would really like to know immediately. Like, the text messages that we got last year were on time, and that's the part that I really felt safe with. And now that they're like so much later, it doesn't really make me feel any safer.
I feel like best case it would be ideal for them to alert the students before the police report is filed, just so that we know an incident has occurred at a certain place in campus so that we can avoid that area.
The investigation is still ongoing, but it's important to balance the timeliness of an alert with an accurate and thorough account of what happened.
Well, school officials also say they weren't notified of the incident until later in the day, which is partly what caused the delay. USC continues to encourage students to report anything suspicious on campus immediately so that they can get that important information out quickly.
Well, stranded in high waters, hanging on for their lives. 3 Lexington teenagers found themselves in just that type of scary situation recently. But thanks to the daring efforts of brave officers from the West Columbia Police Department, they're able to tell their story tonight. Those officers are going to be honored by the city for their heroic rescue on the flooded Congaree River last month. Tonight, Stephen Dial sat down with the boys who were rescued, and he has their story.
We were having a good time until we got to the first bridge on the river.
Last month, high school friends Ryan Sennett, Michael Maddox, and Ryan Walewski turned a day out of school into an evening kayaking on the Congaree River. Because the water was so calm, they decided to take off their life jackets.
From there, it just all went bad.
Little did they know, from the early rain and water being released from the Lake Murray Dam, that calm day turned into a nightmare that they'll never forget.
There were a bunch of rapids. We all flipped out.
It was just like bad day.
All 3 of the boys flipped out of their kayaks.
I was scared.
Sennett and Walewski were able to get to a nearby tree and hold on, while park rangers called West Columbia officers to the scene. But for Maddox, he was stranded in the middle of the river.
I was completely away from my kayak, so I was freaking out.
For most of the time, we keep our feet dry.
This wasn't one of those times. Corporal Art Sebo and 4 other officers arrived on the scene. 4 officers helped the 2 boys that were holding on to the tree.
I saw a kayak floating this way.
Maddox was still in the raging river, now clinging to his kayak. Officer Sebo was the only person left to help save him.
And I knew that he's not going to make it much further. It's either now or never.
Without hesitating, Sebo says he took off his utility belt and jumped into the water.
I'm guessing you know how to swim.
Sort of.
An officer whose job is to protect and serve, who sort of knows how to swim, was in water up to his neck, battling the currents with one goal in mind.
I couldn't let him go by.
Sebo was finally able to pull Maddox to safety.
I was completely exhausted. I couldn't have made it out of the river without any of their help.
For Sebo, he says helping people is why he became an officer.
I don't look for attention or special recognition.
But for Maddox and the other guys, they see Sebo as a hero.
I don't want them to think I'm some sort of super guy. I'm just a guy.
Just a guy who Maddox says saved his life.
We're definitely thankful.
Sebo and the other officers will receive a resolution from the city for their brave efforts at a police banquet this Friday. As for the boys, they say they will never take off their life jackets again when they're out on the waters. In the studio, Stephen Dial, News 19 WLTX.
All right, Steve, thank you. We have a Midlands mystery to tell you about tonight. Throughout the late afternoon, we were getting reports into our information center about loud booms in several Midlands counties. Take a look. The circles on your screen represent the areas where the loud noises were heard and felt. They include Sumter, Lexington, Wedgefield, Manning, and Bishopville, along with Somerton, Eastover, Maysville, and Sandy Run. Now, viewers told us the noise was so loud it shook their homes. About an hour after the first call started coming in, we were told of another loud boom that was being felt and heard as well. We did make several phone calls to try and get to the bottom of this. The State Emergency Management Agency says it wasn't an earthquake. Shaw Air Force Base had no unusual flying activity, and Columbia Metro Airport says they don't know of any sonic booms today. With that said, a lot of you were talking about it on Facebook tonight. Vicky writes in, "This is getting weird. If it wasn't an earthquake, what the heck was it?" And Samantha says, "I live next to Lakewood High School in Sumter, and there have been many times where a loud explosion would wake me up in the morning. It would shake my house so hard it sounded like a car drove straight through my house." Now, you'll remember nearly a month ago we had similar reports in areas from all around the Midlands of loud booms. Still no word on what caused those either.
Well, some big news tonight out of the nation's capital. Senator Lindsey Graham says he is not satisfied with the White House's response in reference to the situation in Benghazi, so he will block the president's pick to lead the CIA until more details are released. Now, the president has nominated White House counterterrorism chief John Brennan to replace former CIA director David Petraeus, who resigned after admitting to having an extramarital affair.
Now, your True View forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jim Gandy.
We've had some clouds in the area during the evening. No rain with that, but now those clouds are moving out and skies will be clearing during the early morning hours. We're expecting a low temperature of 31 degrees. Tomorrow, we'll be warming up to about 61 degrees for a high temperature. There'll be plenty of sunshine. But as we go forward, more rain is expected for Friday and Saturday. Nice weather on Sunday, but then the rain returns for Monday. I'll have more on that forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, Jim, thanks so much. A woman has been arrested in connection with a hit-and-run accident that killed a Kingstree High School basketball coach. Troopers say surveillance video led them to 37-year-old Davaline Holmes. Now, Holmes was driving on Highway 52